Hi, welcome to the show. So we're just going to talk about all the controversy with the bishop uh, talking to, um, giving a sermon to Trump, which upset all the fake Christians, all the hypocrites that Christ um, warned us of. Okay, let's check it out. Uh, I believe she's Episcopalian Archbishop. But yeah, if I'm wrong, write down the comments.
Immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors.
Making a plea to the president.
I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here.
I listened to this speech. It's actually pretty good.
Oh yeah, this is Hasan Piker. He's leftist American Muslim, Turkish American Muslim, not practicing, I believe. But yeah, he's a leftist streamer. Yeah, he's the left's Joe Rogan, and yeah, his takes are pretty good.
It's not the intended target of the message is not going to reach that target, obviously. But it's actually pretty good. It's not like it's not like or whatever. It's actually pretty solid. And we'll cover that in a second. Hold on.
Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land.
So yeah, she's referring to that, but I think it's a passage in Deuteronomy that she's referring to there. But yeah, I drew up the Beatitudes. This is in Matthew chapter 5, and this is Christ's basic sort of gospel. So it's known as the Beatitudes in the Catholic faith, and it's known as the Sermon on the Mount across the Protestant faith. Yeah, so this is Matthew. The Gospel of Matthew is the first book of the Gospels if you open the New Testament. And yeah, it's attributed to Christian tradition has it that Matthew wrote this, but scholarly sources say that it was not actual Matthew. But yeah, it was sort of mainly aimed at. He's a good story teller, Matthew. But there's a whole sort of debate on how the Gospels are written, and it's called the synoptic problem. Synoptic meaning side by side. Anyway, so yeah, this gives the basic tenets of the Christian faith. So when Jesus saw the crowds, he went up the mountain, and after he sat down, his disciples came to him. Verse 2, then he began to speak and taught them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." Pretty uncontroversial, you'd think, wouldn't you? not to the apostate American evangelical church. Yeah, blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. All pretty sort of non-controversial stuff. I think here we go. We start getting into the controversial. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Wow. Righteousness. Interesting. Okay, let's go on. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Not the Republican Party. They hate being merciful. They only have mercy for the rich, CEOs, billionaires. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. There you go. That's what the American evangelicals would call woke people. Yeah. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. More wokesters, more woke people that the Republicans and the American demonic evangelical church hate. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. The Palestinian protesters, that's what I think of when I see this verse. The Palestinian protesters right now. Blessed are you when people revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets, who were before you. So yeah, remember that verse. Palestinian protesters and the Palestinians themselves, the free people of Palestine. Remember this verse. These two verses apply to you. And yeah, this would seem totally non-controversial. Anyway.
That didn't sit well with the president, overnight calling the bishop a radical left hardline Trump hater, saying her statements were inappropriate. And the president continues to dismantle.
Yeah. Fake Christians, when they see an actual Christian push for, Christianity.
True. Very true. Yeah, exactly so. I profess to be a Christian, but I'm a Christian in the traditional first century sense, who were generally slaves, a lot of slave women, in the early Roman Church and Greek churches and the Syrian and Jerusalem churches. That's what all these dumb Americans don't get, that the Syrian church, don't you get it, the road to Damascus? That was the Syrian church, the Church of Antioch. These are great places in Christendom. But these American evangelical fools don't know that. They have no idea. No fucking idea whatsoever. They're so fucking stupid.
Like, dude, American Christians, when they actually face a real Christian message, go, oh, what is this woke nonsense? Okay. Oh, what is this woke DEI commie nonsense? So that's what I'm going to talk about as well. Okay. I'm gonna get to that right now. So a couple things took place here. Number one, I want to show you during the sermon, I want to show you Trump's and JD Vance's reactions.
In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy
Look at these demons.
upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are
Even though Tiffany's looking pretty cute. Cute as in adorable. She's just looking around like a ditz.
gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent.
Ooh, JD Vance not happy. Look at him. Look, he's saying something to his Mrs. Who is paying attention. At least Melania is paying attention. And Trump is paying attention. He's not happy. And oh no, the kids back there, but nobody cares about them.
Families.
Come on, JD. I thought JD was a real Christian, a real born again Catholic.
Yeah, he's a Catholic convert. Yeah. And the Catholics tell me that there's nothing worse than a convert. Because if you grow up in Catholicism, it's a whole different story. Yeah, you generally, most Catholics are pretty chill. They just like go to mass, and they just take the Eucharist, respectful. But yeah, they don't let they don't become zealots about it, let's say. But yeah, these guys do.
What happened? You don't like it? You don't like it when someone is preaching to you about, like, some of the best tenets, some of the most consistently good tenets of religion, which is like, be kind to your neighbor, turn the other cheek, that sort of stuff, is so funny, man. These guys hate quote unquote Christians when you hear about some of the good stuff in religion. Immediately are like, wait, what do you mean? What do you mean be kind to your neighbor? Well, I'm sorry, love thy neighbor? Not on my watch, brother.
True.
I swear to God, if Jesus came back to earth, if Jesus Christ came back to earth and he was, like, unfortunately born in, like, Texas, okay, they would kill him with hammers, okay?
It's true. It's true. He's just,
The evangelicals
he's just memeing here.
would capture him and beat him to death with hammers, okay? They would literally be like, oh, we should crucify
All right, I'll just be going forward.
Collins, okay, proudly serving Georgia 10, said the person giving this sermon should be added to the deportation list. Brother.
That's unbelievable. The basic Christian message, and the Republicans want her deported. But I think she's from New Jersey or something, isn't she? She's American.
That is so insane. Like what? How do you not realize you are a villain, man? Goddamn villain, dude. Like, what is going on? What is happening? This guy is talking about an American pastor giving a sermon on, some of the decent tenets of Christianity. And this guy's like, I don't want to, what are you talking?
What we went over in Matthew chapter 5.
Talking about, you should be killed. Jail or deportation for you immediately. Excuse me. It's psychotic. Yeah. Christians, when you tell them to love thy neighbor, actual Christian stuff. It's just so incredibly cooked.
That is exactly so. That is exactly so. Unbelievable. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's jump forward.
Were you looking at him in that moment? What kind of response were you perhaps hoping for in that moment?
I was looking at the president because I was speaking directly to him. I was also, frankly, as you do in every sermon, speaking to everyone who was listening through that one-on-one conversation with the president, reminding us all that in the people that are frightened in our country, the two groups of people that I mentioned are our fellow human beings, and that they have been portrayed in all throughout the political campaign in the harshest of lights that I wanted to counter as gently as I could with a reminder of their humanity and their place in our wider community. And I was speaking to the president because I felt that he has this moment now where he feels charged and empowered to do what he feels called to do. And I wanted to say, you know, there is room for mercy. There's room for a broader community.
See? That's totally in form with Matthew chapter 5 and the Beatitudes, the Sermon on the Mount. Blessed are the merciful. It's right there in black and white. The demonic American evangelical church, the hypocrites, can't get around that.
Passion. We don't need to portray with a broad cloth in the harshest of terms some of the most vulnerable people in our society who are, in fact, our neighbors, our friends, our children, our friends' children, and so forth.
So you spoke.
Yeah, because once again, the words of Matthew chapter 5, in theology, this is known as high Christology. Ology, logos, from the Greek, meaning a story or the word of. So, Christos, the word of Christ, or the study of Christ, or discussion of Christ. So that's what, this is high Christology. There's high Christology and there's low Christology. So there's a low Christology is Christ as a man, as a mortal man, that human side of Christ. And then there's the high Christology, when Christ is in a sort of, in his cosmic manifestation, as you know, you see the universal Christ, Christ the Redeemer, the Agnus Dei, the Lamb of God, to use the Catholic phrase. So yeah, blessed are, it's right there, you know. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. So, yeah. But that kills the fake Christians, the hypocrites, the fascists, you know, LARPing as Christians.
I like how you use the word gently, because it was gentle. I mean, it was intense and passionate, but yet it was gentle. It was not ugly or confrontational. Wouldn't expect it to be, but you know, these are hard things to talk about in that context. You spoke obviously about undocumented.
Nothing pisses off conservative Christians more than like a real ass Christian. Okay, like
True.
a pastor, a bishop that abides by, you know, the good things in the Bible. Nothing pisses them off. That's why they also hate
the Christ's words, whenever Christ's words are quoted, these hypocrites, the fake Christians, the American demonic evangelical church of apostates, they never quote Christ. Do you notice that? They never ever quote Christ. They always quote Paul. They carry on about, they're like Ephesians, in the book of Corinthians, Paul. Paul never met Christ while he was on earth. So Paul was not one of the 12. So, yeah, they'll always quote Paul. Paul was a Roman citizen. He started out his career by slaughtering Christians and, persecuted Christians. He was Saul. And then on the road to Damascus, he converted to Christianity when he saw a vision of Christ. And, he became Paul. So he was not one of the 12. And you notice these apostates, these fascists, they're really good at getting something and twisting it on itself. And, sort of shrouding themselves in that and becoming a wolf in sheep's clothing, basically, pretending to be Christian.
Jimmy Carter, too, right? Jimmy Carter, as president, did a whole bunch of awful stuff. But I have always maintained the position that, Jimmy Carter, I think, was spiritually a very frustrating person for a lot of evangelical Christians who hated the fact that he was doing the Christ-like, the stuff that you're supposed to do if you're a Christian.
True. You can tell a fake Christian and that they're actually apostates and heretics and sent from the devil, sent from Satan himself, because they're liars and they never preach Christ. And they hate it when Christians actually follow the tenets of the Christian faith. They really hate it. They're always talking about, these idiots that go on with their prosperity garbage, utter garbage, has no theological basis. And yet, that's acceptable. Oh, Trump would love that. Prosperity gospels, all these fake Christians, they love that stuff. They love that shit. They're the most fake garbage people in the world. Hey, I'm a Christian, I'm a sinner, I stuff up. But hey, at least I try. These people don't even pretend anymore. They're out. They're open fascists. They don't need the cloak of Christianity anymore. So yeah, these people despise Jesus.
Build houses, help feed the hungry. It's just so frustrating to them. It's kind of like the way the Democratic Party despises the likes of Bernie Sanders, because Bernie Sanders shows the rest of the population of Democratic voters how you could be a competent and progressive leader. They hate that. They're like, whoa, you're not supposed to actually want to walk the walk. You're supposed to just talk the talk, and then do nothing. It's the same thing. It just kind of exposes them as the frauds that they are. So they just despise it. They hate that. They absolutely despise a Christian person who actually abides by the good standards set forth in religious doctrine. Okay?
Based.
Okay?
Migrants, also the LGBT community, the two communities you're talking about. I wanted to play a little bit more of what you said, and also, again, the president's reaction at that moment.
There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. The vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay.
That is based on the story of Nicodemus. Yeah, I can talk about that later on.
Taxes and our good neighbors. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose
There you go. It comes up again. Blessed are the merciful.
children fear that their parents will be taken away.
What made you decide to say all that today?
Well, these are the people that I know. These are not abstract people for me. These are actual people that I know. So I wanted to speak on their behalf. I wanted to present a vision of what unity can look like in this country that is transcending of differences and viewpoints and acknowledging our common humanity.
Yes.
I wanted to speak in such a way that reflected that dignity and respect, but I also wanted
Disgusting, woke nonsense. How dare you? Christianity is supposed to be about killing thy neighbor if I suspect thy neighbor of being Guatemalan, okay?
True.
That's what Christianity is about. Excuse me, what the hell are you talking about? Evangelical Christians operate in the exact way that Reddit atheists claim Christians are like all the time.
True.
They operate in the cartoonishly evil, villainous ways in which Reddit atheists, like militant atheists, depict them as.
True.
All the time, like all day, every day. They're like, what do you mean? What do you mean about love thy neighbor? How dare you? I'm not loving anybody except for Donald Trump, my Lord and Savior. Fuck you.
to bring into that
True.
space the real humanity of the people of
American Christianity is satanic. It's prosperity
Based.
gospel is such an obvious
Like I mentioned, prosperity gospel.
satanic interpretation of Christianity. It is
Yes.
hilarious to me. Okay. It is like the most evil thing that masquerades.
Yes, exactly. When Christ says it is easier for a rich man to enter the gates of heaven than it is for a camel to enter through the eye of a needle. You know, and you watch them, you ever bring that up to these prosperity idiots, they twist themselves in pretzels, trying to get out of that one. But these are the words of Christ himself. So you can't deny it if you're professing to be his follower.
As being godly. It is crazy. And it's the most popular form of Christianity in America. It is nutty to me. What do you mean a rich man has the same likelihood of getting into heaven that a camel does through the eye of a needle? That's stupid gay shit.
Not true. See? And here's a Muslim man quoting scripture at the fake Christians and calling them out. God bless you, Hasan Piker, Hank Pecker.
That's woke DEI. Sounds like Marxism to me. You. How dare you say shit like that? Heaven is woke now. Anyway.
that I was referencing.
What is this? This is funny. Coming from a Christian household, we went to the same church my whole life. When I turned 18, my pastor gave a positive stance on abortion and started a clinic to aid immigrants in southern Arizona, and my family left the church.
There you go. There you go. When the pastor acted in the Christian faith, they left the church. So this is how demented they are.
That's amazing. Nope. They just noped. They pieced out of God, dude.
That's crazy. Anyway, I might leave it there. If you've made it this far, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.